Jimmy, just generally, how do you feel like you guys are playing right now?
Right now we're good. We've won one in a row. So you can't win two in a row without winning one in a row. So right now we're an incredible team.
When Steph is out, like he was tonight, like he was the past few games, how aggressive do you need to be offensively?
I think it's a balance of being aggressive and making sure that everybody gets their shots. I love making sure that guys are getting their open shots, make sure that their confidence is going early. And then when it's time to score, I think I can do that with the best of them, honestly. But before any and all that stuff, I just think, our pace was great. We were spaced incredibly well tonight on offense, so it looked a lot better.
To that point, Al credited you with he'd been struggling shooting. You said you got him a couple good clean looks early. How purposeful was that?
Oh, very, very purposeful. I mean, as great of screens as he sets for me, and protecting everybody at the rim and making all the right plays. It's only right whenever he's open, he gets the ball every single time, for sure, for me. And I'll tell him, like, when I got the ball at the top, I'll jump over and skip it to you every single time in the corner, so just be ready to shoot it. So I'm glad he got to see the ball going.
Jimmy, obviously it's only November, but how telling will this trip be? It's 6 games in 9 days. It's, defending champs, San Antonio twice. How do you view this trip?
Exciting. That's one. We play some really good teams on the road. But you gotta win some of these to show that you can compete with the best of them. Obviously, if we got 30 out there, our chances of winning goes up drastically. But even if he isn't ready to go, we still got to go out there and we got to compete, because it's very possible that we can win.
Hey, Jimmy, you worked with Kuminga a bit this season, and he's obviously was off to a great start. Last couple of games, not so much, and like tonight. Do you talk to him after something like this to kind of keep spirits up? Do you say anything? Or?
He's actually going to come over to my house for dinner right now. But the thing that I tell you and I tell him, you're not going to play great every night. You're not going to play bad every night either. But you don't ever get too high whenever you score 79 points, and you don't ever get too low whenever you score 2. You stay right in the middle, and you keep working, and you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing every single day. And those days, they will even out. They'll equal out. So as long as we win, I never care how anybody plays, because we won. But I want him to continually be aggressive, shoot the ball when you're open, attack, get to the free throw line, all of that good stuff. I wouldn't say that he's played bad. The stats he had 5 points tonight. Whoop-de-doo, who cares? Because there's going to be nights when he has 45 points, and it's going to look like, oh, look at this. But he's playing well enough on the defensive side. He's rebounding the basketball. It's more than just scoring, which is what I try to tell him.
Jimmy, what are your early impressions of Will Richard and how he's brought his game, college game to this level and makes things happen every time he steps out there?
He's a winner. He's hella smart, but I think the thing that I love about Will the most is his ability to listen. Like, you tell him what to do, to the best of his ability, he's going to do it. Whether it's on offense, whether it's on defense, it's really hard to try to please everybody, because you could be told 5 different things from 5 different people, and he's the type of human being that's going to try to do like all 5 of those things that everybody's telling him. They could totally contradict each other, but he's a hellified listener, and whatever you tell him to do, he understands that it's to win, so he's going to do it, and he just looks incredible whenever he's out there doing it.
Is there a piece of advice you've given him that you've seen him take out there and deliver?
I always say, like, to everybody, your time's coming. We don't know, I damn sure don't know when, but I was you at one point in the league too, and it's always be ready. It's always going to be the next man up. And when his number's called, when his name's called, he shows up in a big way. So he just needs to keep going with that. You show up, you work out, you train, you do everything the same way. And then when your number's called, you go out there and you compete at a high level, and you show up like he's been doing these last couple games.
Jimmy, you and Draymond in Denver the other night, we're asking the younger guys to just play harder. That was the theme coming out of the locker room. Al said Draymond challenged everybody to come out better. How did you think the group responded given the way you guys played Friday?
Incredibly well. We, I always say we're going to win together and we're going to lose together, and we will come together and understand that whenever somebody's speaking, it's not at one somebody, even though somebody's name might be in it. It's as a whole, it's as a group, and you just got to get back to winning, doing winning plays on both sides of the floor, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and taking the challenge on the defensive side of the floor, and taking it personal when your man's scoring you. Yeah, it's a 5-man game, but that's what the whole thing was. Who are we gonna be? I just think we got to be the most connected group.
Jimmy, when you were asked earlier about JK, you said the important thing is that he stays aggressive. It seemed like the last couple of games he was more tentative. He settled for some threes when he, driving to the hoops, obviously his strength. Did you see that at all?
No. I like all the threes that he takes. And if he makes those threes, you would say that he's being aggressive, right? It's a make-or-miss league. If he's making them, we don't have this conversation. If he drives and he misses, y'all still gonna say something. Not y'all, but like people miss shots. All right, the game's not dictated, and it'll never be won or lost if JK misses 2 shots or if he turned the ball over once. It's never gonna come down to one person. I just want him to keep that confidence high, knowing that he belongs in this league, knowing that he's a starter on this team, and it's all gonna turn around for you. Don't read nothing that any of y'all right. Don't read nothing that they say on socials, because that don't matter. That ain't gonna make you play no better anyways. You go out there, you put your head down, you compete, and know that the guys in his locker room and his organization got your back for sure.
Steve sort of said that you guys are searching for an identity. I think you kind of hinted at like you guys want to be the most connected team, but what type of identity do you guys really want?
I just want to be a really hard playing team, and like I said, the most together team. Through the good, through the bad, we're not worried about the outside noise. It's the people in here that's living it, that's doing it every single day, that is going to hype you up when you're not playing your best, when you're not feeling your best, and that's going to humble you whenever you're doing too much. Like, that's the togetherness that I'm talking about.
Steve, what was the biggest difference in that third quarter? Towards the end, that 10-0 run to end the third?
Well, we finally got some strung together some stops, and then we had good pace to the game. Jimmy really took over the game at that point, but we got some guys out there with him who were really cutting, moving. Will Moses did a great job. I liked how Pat Spencer pushed the ball, and obviously Al, knocking down some shots and blocking shots. Yeah, that was a good stretch, and that opened up the game for us finally.
Steve, Kuminga obviously having a breakthrough season up until the last couple games, and tonight, not so much. Your thoughts on what's going on there?
Just a tough night. Every night is different, and wasn't his night, but Tuesday could be his night. So you just got to keep playing.
You guys, about to head out on this You're about to head on this 6-game trip with back-to-back right away, a couple back-to-backs on the trip. How do you feel? You guys are kind of playing right now, and also just physically, where do you feel like you guys are at for what?
Yeah, I mean, we're not playing very well. Clearly, we had a great fourth quarter, end of third, and then fourth quarter, the ball started moving. There was some flow, and but overall, we haven't played real well. But I'm very confident in this team. It's going to be a tough trip. As you mentioned, 2 back-to-backs. We kind of felt like, getting through this early part of the schedule in one piece, and, if we're healthy and, win our share of games, that it sets up the rest of the season well for us. So obviously we gave a couple games away, but all in all, we're pretty healthy, and we're going to get there. I can picture, the team. I can see what kind of team we're going to be, but we don't really have our identity yet.
Hello, Steve. A question for Canal Plus Africa. Back to Kuminga then. So you talked about tonight, but overall, how do you judge his beginning of this season that has been made of some ups and downs? And how different is he from last season already as a player, and when it comes to his melting with the team?
How different is who as a player?
Kuminga, from the last season.
Yeah. So as far as the the beginning of the season, we feel like our record should be better. We probably let a couple games slip away. But we're finding out a lot about our team. It's been great to see Will Richard play and, try to incorporate Al Horford, let him get comfortable. And then JK has done a really good job, here in the early season. Tonight wasn't his night, but, I think he's had a good start to the season. We're giving him more responsibility, guarding the ball. And he's showing the growth that we had hoped.
Steve,
Janie.
Hi. Indiana was the last team that had not lost here. I mean, is that kind of a wild stat to you, or you don't? I know you don't see them regularly at Chase Center, but do you think about? Do you get a kick out of stats like that?
They've had our number the last few years, and we've had a couple games against them that probably we should have taken care of. The one last week for sure, but I know you're talking about their streak here at Chase. But they're a talented team. Rick's a great coach. They've just come in here and handle their business. So nice to finally beat them here.
Steve, you referenced earlier the tough trip, and you've talked a lot about trying to find the right lineup combinations and leaning on your depth. I imagine that's even more necessary on a trip like this. Do you feel like you're closer to having an understanding of the combinations you want, and how much will you need that in these next 10 days?
We're expecting Steph to be back Tuesday, and so that'll be helpful. We've had a lot of different starting lineups. We've kind of gone back and forth between Quentin and Brandon at times. I'd like to gain more consistency with the lineup, and I like Quentin out there with that first group. He's played really well. His defense has dramatically improved. I think he's second on our team in plus minus. He gives us that shooter feel. Quick ball mover, all of that stuff. So I imagine I'm going to keep Quentin out there in the lineup, but we have to look at everything. Obviously, the starting group the last few games hasn't been great. It's a little clunky. You guys can see it, and so we have to evaluate everything. But I do like Quentin with the first group.
Will, the last few games, have kind of been fringe rotation to start, and obviously he's busted through in both games. Where are you at with him? I know there's like a rookie pecking order type thing, but obviously he's performed in his.
Will's been amazing. I didn't know a whole lot about him when we got him, but really early on in camp, you could see that he really knew how to play. I mean, he's constantly making the right cut, the right pass. He's solid. His fundamentals are fantastic. You can see all the experience he's had in big games coming in here. So Will is he's a ball player, and we're excited to have him, and he's going to contribute quite a bit for us this year, like he did tonight.
Steve, how did Steph come through the workout before the game?
I assume fine. I mean, I saw him on the bench. I haven't talked to him about the workout, but he got a really good shooting workout in with Q, and he'll get another session in tomorrow before we leave for OKC.
Well, at this point, just how comfortable do you feel in this offense with this team?
I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, I try to keep it simple out there, spacing the floor, knowing when to cut and stuff like that. So I'm definitely getting adjusted, and credit to my teammates. They've helped make that transition a lot easier.
How have your teammates helped you with that transition?
Just being so insightful. I feel like I asked them a lot of questions about where they like to be on the court, where I fit in and stuff like that, and all of them have been helpful, telling me exactly where to go and stuff like that. So I'll probably just say the way they've guided me throughout my transition to the NBA.
You mentioned it in your first answer, but what are the keys to knowing when to cut?
I feel like as soon as I see the defender's head turn, that's when I cut, or when I see the back of his numbers, that's when I know to cut, yeah.
Is that something you've just kind of known instinctively since high school or college? Or, I mean, how do you develop a skill like that?
Credit to my coaches growing up in high school, college. They all poured into me and playing the right way. And I grew up watching the Warriors as well. So I grew up watching guys like that moving out the basketball and stuff like that. So it's definitely helped.
I will. You just got a nice compliment from Al Horford. He said that when you go on the floor, you do things right. You bring the energy level up. I mean, maybe that sounds simple, but those things really matter. What do you take pride in doing when you hit that floor from the second you check into a game?
Yeah, just making impact, whether that's on the offensive, defensive end, and sprinting the floor and doing stuff like that. Like I said, I grew up watching the Warriors, so for me, Steph and Dre and all them, they made my childhood. So I feel like every time I'm on the court, I need to pay that back by going out there and playing as hard as I can.
And he also mentioned a maturity level that you have. I mean, did going through a pretty spectacular NCAA run just months ago prepare you for high-level games? I know it's not exactly the same, but how much did that experience help you?
Yeah, it definitely helped me. I mean, playing in the NCAA tournament is a lot. I mean, it's one game at a time, but it's a lot of pressure on that one game. You got to win the event. So I'll say that. And then just being in college for 4 years, I mean, that experience, you go through a lot of ups and downs, face a lot of adversity. So just not getting too high or too low, and just knowing that if you stay together as a team, you're going to be all right. So I feel like that's definitely helped me transition to this league.
Al also said, like, you guys, they're going to need you moving forward to contribute and everything. How do you sort of keep this momentum up as the season goes along?
Yeah, just keeping it simple. I feel like whatever role they need me in to help us win, I'm willing to do that. And just keeping it simple, trying to make an impact every time I step on the floor.
That it? Cool. Great. Warriors have no choice but to bench their playoff hero amid team struggles. Something has to change, fast. Buddy Hield was once the unexpected hero of the Golden State Warriors playoff run, sealing their Game 7 victory over the Houston Rockets in dramatic fashion. But only a few months later, that moment feels like a distant memory. The veteran sharpshooter has fallen into a troubling slump, and with the Warriors stumbling out of the gate this season, his spot in Steve Kerr's rotation is hanging by a thread. Buddy Hield's role is in serious jeopardy. Hield remains one of the most likable and respected voices in the Warriors locker room. His energy, positivity, and work ethic have always been appreciated by teammates and coaches alike. And for most of the past decade, he's been among the league's elite three-point shooters, a role every team needs in today's NBA. But numbers don't lie, and Hield's current production is forcing some tough decisions. In Friday night's blowout loss to the Denver Nuggets, Hield scored just 8 points on 3 of 7 shooting, committed 2 turnovers, and finished with a -17 in less than 20 minutes of action. Over the season, Golden State has been outscored by 37 points with him on the floor, a telling statistic for a player whose main value is supposed to be offensive impact. His shooting percentages, 34.9% from deep and 43.8% from the field, are well below his career averages. And without those shots falling, Hield's limitations become painfully clear. He's not a creator off the dribble, not an elite defender, and not a player who changes the game when his jumper isn't working. At 32, he's now dangerously close to losing his place in the rotation altogether. A rookie is forcing Kerr's hand. Enter rookie guard Will Richard, who's quickly becoming a fan favorite. His breakout 30-point performance against the Sacramento Kings earlier this week turned heads across the league, and inside the Warriors' locker room. Against Denver, he followed it up with 12 points in just 19 minutes, showing hustle, energy, and a willingness to defend. Richard may not have Hield's reputation as a marksman, though his current percentages suggest otherwise, but he's proving he can impact the game in multiple ways, cutting to the basket, crashing the boards, and playing with a kind of defensive urgency the Warriors desperately need. It's becoming increasingly difficult for Kerr to justify keeping Hield in the rotation when Richard is offering so much more on both ends. Hield's future with the Warriors is on the line. The harsh reality is that Hield's struggles couldn't come at a worse time. Golden State has lost 5 of its last 6 games and looks disjointed without Stephen Curry in the lineup. The front office is already evaluating every aspect of the roster, and Hield's $9.2 million expiring contract makes him one of the most likely trade candidates if the team decides to shake things up. Hield's story isn't over yet, but the clock is ticking. If he doesn't rediscover his shooting touch soon, the Warriors might have no choice but to pull him from the rotation entirely and explore trade options before the midseason deadline. For a player who just months ago was being hailed as a postseason hero, it's a stunning and humbling fall. Still, in a league that values shooting more than ever, all it takes is one hot stretch to change the narrative. Whether Buddy Hield can find that spark again, or whether the Warriors decide to move on, could determine how this turbulent season unfolds for Golden State. Inside the locker room, growing tension and urgency. Inside the Warriors' locker room, frustration is beginning to surface. Players aren't panicking, not yet, but there's a clear sense that time is running out to fix what's gone wrong. After Friday night's loss to Denver, the atmosphere was subdued. Several players stayed on the court longer than usual, getting extra shots up. Hield was among them, quietly working through shooting drills long after reporters had left. According to team insiders, he's been one of the hardest workers during practices, trying to regain his rhythm and confidence. Head coach Steve Kerr has avoided publicly criticizing Hield, but his recent comments made it clear that accountability will be the theme moving forward. "We can't rely on reputation or past performances," Kerr said after the loss. "We need production right now, consistency, effort, and urgency from everyone. That's the standard." Behind those words lies an unmistakable message: minutes will be earned, not given. Front office monitoring the situation closely. According to several league sources, the Warriors front office is keeping a close eye on Hield's situation. With his $9.2 million salary and expiring contract, the veteran guard represents one of Golden State's most tradable assets if the team decides to pursue roster changes before the February trade deadline. The team's management has been reluctant to make early season moves in recent years, preferring to let chemistry develop organically. But this season feels different. The Western Conference is loaded with parity, and a slow start could mean the difference between contending and fighting for a play-in spot. If Hield's production doesn't improve soon, it wouldn't be surprising to see Golden State explore offers from teams seeking shooting depth, especially contenders in need of reliable floor spacers off the bench. Still, Hield's professionalism and leadership make any potential trade a difficult decision. Kerr and general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. have emphasized the value of veteran voices in the locker room, particularly with a roster that now includes several young contributors like Brandon Podziemski and Will Richard. Searching for stability without Stephen Curry. The Warriors' reliance on Stephen Curry has never been more apparent. Without him, the offense often looks stagnant, overly dependent on isolation plays and broken sets that fail to generate open looks for shooters like Hield. Curry's return, expected within days, could help reset the team's offensive rhythm and create the kind of spacing Hield thrives on. Still, it's fair to question whether his presence alone will be enough to solve deeper structural issues, especially with aging veterans and an inconsistent bench. Golden State's once feared ball movement has slowed noticeably. Opponents have adjusted defensively, pressuring perimeter players and forcing secondary scorers to make plays off the dribble, something that hasn't been Hield's strength throughout his career. A pivotal stretch ahead. Over the next 2 weeks, the Warriors embark on a 6-game road trip that could define their season. They'll face several physical defensive-minded teams, including the Thunder, Pelicans, and Bucks, opponents that will test their toughness and resolve. If Hield can rediscover his shooting touch and deliver meaningful minutes during this stretch, it could change everything. A few strong games might not only restore Kerr's trust, but also remind the league why Hield remains one of the purest shooters of his generation. But if his struggles persist, the writing on the wall may become impossible to ignore. The Warriors can't afford sentimentality in a season that's slipping away. The bottom line. Buddy Hield's story with the Warriors has reached a crossroads. From playoff hero to potential trade piece, his journey encapsulates the fine line between success and uncertainty in the NBA. For Golden State, the decision isn't just about one player. It's about whether they can still chase titles with their current core, or if it's finally time to reshape the roster around Curry before it's too late. The next few weeks may not only determine Hield's fate, but could also shape the Warriors' entire season, and perhaps their future beyond it.